this set up. Just check that my mic is working as always, guys. Won't be a second. Just check that my mic is working as always. It certainly is. The mic is up and running. Just that in there. What is happening, guys? It is Danny Lads 1989. Something different for you today. As the way and the shape that Division 2 is in at the minute, there's quite a few new players coming to the game. I've been helping a few of those for the past week or so, a couple of guys that I've got out of Facebook groups and etc, etc. If you are watching and you need help, you need advice on builds, this is what this live stream is for. I've got about an hour and a half before I've got something else to do. So I'm doing this live stream. I'm not going to be doing any control points or any missions or anything like that. I'm going to go to the shooting range and I'm going to show you different builds, how they work, why they work, what to use them for, and in what situation you're going to need them. Yes, you could criticise and say, that's not the build I like, that's not this, that's not that. This is not for any pro players or anybody that is very active on the game anyway, because you'll already know these simple builds. I'm doing this to genuinely help the community. So I'm going to share it across a few platforms, and if you're watching after time, obviously fast forward a little bit until I'm down into the shooting range, and I'm just going to go through a healer build, a tank build, a DPS build, and I'm just going to talk about a few builds just to help you guys in general and make life easier and make the game easier and more enjoyable. Because I think one of my things that I find is a lot of people say it's a grind and it's this and it's that, and you know, you have one build that works but you don't really have anything else to go to sort of make it more fun. And I'm going to go through those builds today. I've got a status effect build to show you, I've got a one-shot build to show you, and yes, like I said, go ahead and say those aren't the best builds for the job. I'm not saying they are. Not under any circumstances are these builds the best at all. They work for me. So if they work for me, they'll work for you, and then change them however you please. Guns, gear, talents, whatever it might be. Give me your feedback. Talk to me. That's what this live stream is all about. So, like I said, if you're watching after time, do bear with me. I'm just going to share the stream across a few platforms and get a few people in. So, I will be with you momentarily. If you're watching after time, skip forward until I'm down into the shooting range, and that's when I'll begin. So I'm going to go ahead and share this in the Discord. If you want to know my Discord, guys, it's exactly the same as my YouTube channel. It's just Danny Lads 1989. I am here just to help. That's all I want to do. Talking builds today, help, giving out some advice, and just showing everyone that it can be made easy and you can do it. It doesn't take, you know, a mass amount of knowledge and, you know, a mass amount of effort just to take a little bit of advice off somebody, because as I did myself, take advice off other people's builds and help those out, and other people help me as well. So it is just word of knowledge, if you like. So shared on my Discord, guys. If you want to know the Discord, I will leave a link in the chat for you. So if you do want to know that, just put a message in and I will leave the Discord in the chat for you. So let's share it on there. Share on here. Share that on there, share that on there, share that on there. There we go, bring the live chat back up.
It's hard to look people in the eye sometimes.
Let's get rid of that. Bring the chat back up.
It's hard not to worry what might be waiting for us.
There we go. So guys, I'll just run through everything again just in case that you missed it or you're watching after time or whatever. So today, talking about builds and just helping in general. If you do need help on the game and you are new to the game, my PSN is exactly the same as my Discord and as my YouTube channel. It's just DannyLads1989. It's highlighted in orange for you at the top. Nowhere near would I turn around and say I'm the best at the game and I know this and I know that, but I know my fair share. I certainly know how to get raids completed, missions. I've soloed more stuff. If you've seen any of my content before, you know that I just use what works. So that's what I want to go through today. Like I said, I haven't got much time today. I would like to do some control points for you and go into some, actual doing stuff. But what I want to do is just take an hour and a half, and just go through some simple builds for new starters or even veteran players, just a different type of build to use and just help you guys a little bit more as well. I've started my own clan, just a stress-free, no rules, no nothing clan, and I've been helping a couple of guys in the clan just sort of help out and get some gear, get watch leveled up, just understand the game a little bit more, and they have been enjoying it a lot more themselves. So that's what I want to focus on today, and just talking about builds and helping you guys out in general. So the main thing that I want to cover today is a healer build, a tank build, a DPS build, a status effect build, just certain things that we can go through that just genuinely help you enjoy the game more and it be more fun. That's the main thing that I want to focus on today. So feel free to put any comments in the chat. Go ahead, ask any questions, any theories about builds or anything that you do have, go right ahead and ask. That is what this stream is for, really. So I don't want to be going into anything too major. So as you can see, I've got all my exotics on the wall from both Washington and New York. So I don't even need any of them. So if you are playing Division and you sat there and you think he's saying this and he's saying that, send me a friend request. DannyLads1989, send it over and I will help you out. I don't need any gear, I don't need any exotics, and I'm just trying to, I would say, keep the game alive, but there is still quite a lot of players that are playing this game, but there's a lot of new players, and those are the ones that I want to help. Those people that are interested in still playing, I just want to help you guys out, because really, apart from raiding, there's not much else for me to do until they bring some new content. So I'm just going to go through a couple of standard builds with you and just show you how they work. So first up on my list is my healer build. It's very, very same as pretty much 90% of people that run the healer build. So, because I'm in contact, I'll have to go out here, of course. I always forget to do that in the old shooting range. Welcome, guys, if you just joined the stream. Welcome, welcome. Say hello in the chat. Today is your chance to get any theories across, anything that you might have questions about, any builds, any questions in general about Division, or if you're a new player and you just want to ask in general what it's like and what it does and anything in general. That's what this stream is for. So, straight off the bat, guys, if you're going to have a healer build, Future Initiative is probably the only one to go to. You can use a hardwired build, which people do use. They do use it because, obviously, as you can see here on the three-piece, you do get repair skills anyway. So you can do a hardwired healer build if that's what you choose to do. My personal advice, I would just go with the Future Initiative, just because of the ground control talent right here. So the ground control, as you can see, increases you and your allies' total weapon and, where it says the skill damage, by 15%. And obviously, if you have the chest plate, as you can see, where's the chest plate? Here we are. So with the chest plate, you can see instead of 15, you get 25%, and 25% is a massive bonus to your team, especially if you're first starting out. So even if you're running a 4-man group, you're not even doing a raid, or you're just doing a 2-man group, and you're the healer in your group, you will just provide that extra person or extra persons with those vital extra bit of damage to take down any NPCs or any bosses that you might bump into. So you've got your 4 pieces. Now, the reason that I use these 4 pieces, because a lot of people won't tell you why you use these 4 pieces, is you have to have the BTSU gloves. Now, the BTSU gloves, obviously, an exotic that you can pick up. If you haven't got a pair of these BTSU gloves, go and farm them. There is a project for them that you get on your project list, which will be here. Obviously, I don't have the projects because I've obviously completed them and got them. If you don't have them, I think I've dropped a pair at, was it DCD or was it Bank Headquarters? I think it was Bank Headquarters. I think it was this mission here. I've definitely dropped a pair of BTSUs before from either of those 2 missions. So maybe if it's worth, if you're new and you just started out, maybe just go and run those missions once or twice each and see if you can drop them. But the main reason you want these gloves is for the overcharge. So obviously, as you can see with the talent just down here, obviously if you have so many skill tiers, which with a healer build you want as many skill tiers as possible. So as you can tell, all mine is completely yellow. As you can see where it says SHD, and my watch level is all yellow. So I'm 6 cores, and then I've got 8 attributes. It's all yellow. So that's one main thing that you have to run with. You could say maybe run 1 red just for a bit of damage, but my personal advice is you are the healer. You're supposed to heal. Do you know what I mean? If your teammates are doing the damage, you're doing the heal, you're healing. That's your job. Everything else should just be like, well, I'm the healer. My job's to keep you alive. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of have to work with your team. You know, by all means, go ahead and switch it up. Put a red in there, put a blue in there for a bit of extra armor. Anything of your choice. I just prefer to make sure that if I'm the healer, my heals are, as soon as it hits you, it's like a breath of fresh air, a bit of mint under your breath. You know what I mean? You can feel that minty freshness because it's that good of a heal. And then the standard one to go with is an Alp Summit piece. Now, I only go with the backpack just because you could go with the Future Initiative backpack. I can't quite remember what does the... I'm pretty sure I've got a Future Initiative backpack in my... I can't remember what the talent does. It increases the proximity from... it increases the ground control proximity repair from 60% to 120%. But yes, you could say it's useful since it's 120%, but the amount of healing that you're putting out, there's more useful talents that you could go with. So obviously, the Future Initiative, you'd be losing one of your core attributes anyway because it's green gear. So as you can see here, I've got skill haste and repair skills. So obviously the skill haste will kick in to give my heals back a little bit quicker, and I get 20% from the Alp Summit. Now, you could say, we'll do the same thing with the knee pads. You can do that if you please, that's what you can do, but you can put a talent on this one, and you can change the talent to whatever you please. Now, I've gone with Safeguard, just because, well, you are at 100%, well, you're at full armor, it gives you 100% skill repairs. Now, you could say, again, well, why don't you use the backpack, because that gives you 120%. Fair play. If that's what you want to do, go right ahead, switch it out for the knees, or switch it out for something else, and do it that way. Pat's in the house. Yes, Pat. How you doing, brother? Welcome, Pat. How is my German brother? So yeah, be that as you may, take it as you want. But my personal advice, I'd go with the Alp Summit backpack, and instead of the Safeguard talent, if you wanted to go something different, you could go the Opportunistic talent. Now, I haven't got Opportunistic on one of my backpacks, but I do have the Perfect Opportunistic, which is here. So this is the setup backpack with the Perfectly Opportunistic. So enemies that you hit take 15% more damage from all sources for 5 seconds using a marksman rifle and a shotgun. So if you're using the Scorpio with this, which I'm not, but as you can tell, I have a rifle, an assault rifle. With the with the talent, opportunistic, almost forgot what I was saying then. So with the talent with opportunistic, you'd be providing extra damage for your team. The difference between the perfect opportunistic and the normal one is the 5%. So instead of 15, it's only 10, but still 10% extra damage from all sources in your team, especially in a mission or in a raid or even just running the open world. You will make that difference to your teammates, and they will say when you've got that healer build on, you are making a difference. But then if you put opportunistic on the backpack, that's 10%. But then remember, you've got an extra 25% from your chest plate, so you're providing 35% extra weapon damage and skill damage for your team just being the healer. So that's why I would say run it that way. And I only run it with Safeguard because, like I said, my personal opinion, I'm a healer. I want to make sure that my heals are on point, and when they hit you, it's like, you know, a breath of fresh air up your ass crack, you know what I mean? But welcome, guys. Welcome to the stream. How is everybody doing? Let me know if you're in the house, guys. Say hello, give me your advice, and we're just going to talk of some builds today and sort of show you how they work and go through it. So if you have just joined, you just missed out on the healer build, but I'm sure you can gather how a healer build works. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So this button right here, as you can tell, it will damage me if I press it. So now you can see. So one of my chem launchers, you'll see the instant second it touches the floor, there's no like gradual heal. It's an instant, straight away, right back up to the top. Because my chem launcher heals with this build for, so ally repair is 1.5 million per second, I think it is, with your armor. And most people that run a DPS or even an armor build anyway, you only have maximum 2 million. So a heal is going to pretty much heal you instantly. And obviously myself, heal is going to be a little bit better anyway. So the main thing obviously you want is the chem launcher heal, because you're going to be firing heals at your teammates, whether left, right, centre, up, down, or they're just generally on top of somewhere anyway. Immortal's in the house. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you in the house. What do you mean, oh god? I'm over here helping the community, brother. Do you know what I mean? 2 million armor on a red build. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Let's do it. What are you saying there, Pat, bro? I got 3 weeks off. Let's get something going. Let's go, mate. I've told you. Get back on the game, mate. Get back on it. What are you saying? I think you mean 2 million armor tank build. Yes, that's what I was going through. You joined at the wrong time, that's all. So, like I said, guys, with the healer build, the main thing that you want to focus on, if you're the healer, is keeping people alive. Not an easy thing to do, right? So obviously we have our chem launchers that we're using, and we also have our hive. Now make sure, one of the most important things is to make sure you have the extra heals with your hive. So certain people don't have the right mods. I have 36 charges because I have the extra 4. If you haven't got the extra 4, just click the mods on the summit or something like that, or just find it on the open world. Just go and farm it and you will find it. It's not one of the difficult ones to find, to be honest. It pops up quite a lot. So I'll just go ahead and show you the type of healing that it provides. Even if you're taking as much damage as I'm taking right here, that is going to keep you alive. And then obviously if you put a chem launcher on top of it, you're just not even going to feel anything. It's not even going to touch. And that is basically the healer build wrapped up in a nutshell. So just bear in mind, if you are going to use the Safeguard talent as I do, you have to be at full armor to make sure that that's provided for the team. Now you'll probably say, why do I use the certain guns? I'll go through that. Obviously I run the pistol and it's got in sync on it, which is just providing either extra weapon damage or skill damage. Doesn't seem relevant for a healer build, but if I've just got the pistol and I just whip the pistol out, I just get that extra damage for it. Probably could put the Busy Bee on it to try and stack, or just use a D50 and just have a little bit extra, but you're never probably going to use the pistol in that situation, being a healer anyway. So the gun, I use the SIG 556. Now, why I use this is it was just an extra gun that I had in the stash with this talent on. So this talent, the Reformation talent, headshots grant 30% skill repairs for 15 seconds. So if I land a headshot, even though I'm obviously the healer, if I hit that headshot, you will see that I just provide a little bit of extra healing. Can't actually see the talent unless I've got the heal out, so you will see the talent should pop up. Strange. Why is that talent not popping up? It should pop up underneath. It's probably because there's nobody else in the group. But basically, if I land the headshot, I get an extra so much healing, and that's why I use the assault rifle for that. And then again, you'll probably say, why using the Revenants? I use the Revenants because we use that for Morrisova to stop her getting a rocket launcher off on the Iron Horse raid. If you don't know what I'm talking about because you're new, it's just part of the raid. You need this gun for the raid. So that's the healer build all wrapped up to start off, guys. What are you saying? I'm running chest plate on the healer build. Nice. Nice, mate. It's a different way to do it, 100%. I was just saying, if most people don't want to use the Alp Summit backpack and go with that, or maybe go with an Alp Summit and a different talent, or maybe swap one of these pieces out and do it that way and go with a different backpack, just let me know in the comments what you would change it with. This healer build works for me, and I use it. I don't struggle to heal anyone, and it does the job for me. So, moving on. Healer build covered. My Lazy Boy skill build. That's what I like to call it. I need to actually rename it on the skill build. I need to rename it Lazy Boy skill build. So I'll have to go out of here and out of contact. So what do I use this for? My Lazy Boy skill build. So as you can tell straight off the bat, specialization, I use the tactician specialization. There's a couple of talents on there that just help out with skill builds. Nothing major. And you've got the EMP, obviously. I use that for the dogs or for the Johnny Fives or anything like that you'll see while you're doing it. Just EMP them, and then the turret will take them down. Again, I use the in-sync on the pistol, and the guns, I use the perfect in-sync on the test subject, because obviously if you're hitting your target and your skills are hitting a target, you get an extra 40% damage onto your skills. My advice, if you're going to use a skill build, use the test subject, because it's a very overpowered talent. I also run the Lullaby shotgun or the Sweet Dreams. It's the same thing. What I use it for is, as you can see, melee attacks instantly kill non-elite enemies. So non-yellows, purples and reds, all you need to do is run up to them, give them a quick smack with this gun, and they die instantly, if I can get the right gun out. Just like that, and they die instantly. So it saves my life, because let's say I'm shooting at a cover here and a purple ad comes behind me, I can turn around, run at him quickly, quick melee attack, and that's him taken care of instantly. So that's why I use the guns for this. Mine's named Skills for Days. I like that one. I like that one. Skills for Days. I call it the Lazy Boy build. That's what I refer to mine as the Lazy Boy build. So, why do I use what I use? So, I use 3 pieces of Emperors, basically. The 10% skill health, you'll say, yes, pointless, but the 10% of the skill damage and the 10% skill efficiency makes a big difference. Skill efficiency, if you don't know what it is, it's pretty much the same as weapon handling. It improves your skills accuracy, your skills recoil, your skills speed of it getting there. So if you're using a Seeker ball, just go a little bit quicker. It just improves the skill all round. It's like weapon handling for a gun. It just improves the accuracy, the recoil, reload speed, anything like that. It does the same thing, skill efficiency. So that's those 3 pieces covered. My chest plate obviously is a Wyvern for the skill damage, and as you can see, all rolls skill damage and skill haste to bring my Seeker ball back just that little bit quicker. Yeah, and it's a fancy word for overall. Immortal's right, guys. I just said efficiency is just a clever word of saying for everything. That's all it is. It just improves the skill all round. Same as weapon handling, same thing. So, Wyvern chest plate, and I run glass cannon on the chest plate. Now, you might say, well, why run glass cannon? Why run glass cannon? Because obviously it improves every skill that I have, and obviously my guns as well, by the extra 25%. Yes, you're going to take 50% more damage, but using a build like this, you want to be staying in cover as much as possible and letting the skills do the trick for you. I wouldn't advise you to use glass cannon if I didn't say it was safe with a build like this, because if you have your turret in place and you're throwing your Seeker balls out, you shouldn't actually need to pop up and get hit with glass cannon, because as you saw, there's a mass amount of damage going on just being the Lazy Boy. So, I'll still shooting while I pull it down then. Anyway, so that's the chest plate covered. Now, this is entirely your choice. I prefer to go with this one because obviously I prefer to shoot and not be bored because that's just me. That's probably why I go down more than I should. But the perfect combined arms talent, it's on this named backpack. Can't remember what it's called now. The Force Multiplier, it's called. I was like, where is it? Provides an extra 10% skill haste. So for me, the skill haste, you could say go with something else, maybe explosion damage and use a China light piece and do it that way. But for me, this talent does make a difference. So even though it's skill haste, it says shooting an enemy increases your total skill damage by 30% for 3 seconds. Now, that's a big chunk if you're doing what I would do with this build. So obviously, I'd be tagging my opponent either head or chest, and as you can see at the bottom, you can see that little looks like a bit of a rocket taking off with some smoke behind it. You can see it keeps resetting every time I hit my target. It doesn't matter where you hit the target; it can hit them in the foot, the knee, the chest, the arms, the back of the head. You know, you can hit them in the finger, and it will still proc that talent. And just for me, that's why I use that talent, because I think the extra 30% you get from there, the extra 40% you get from in sync and the glass cannon, it just all combines together for that extra damage, and that's where the lazy boy build, as I call it, kicks in and makes it a little bit better. Yeah, one of those, mate, yeah. Final piece to explain is obviously the holster. So I use the waveform holster, and basically, in a nutshell, instead of reading the whole talent out for you and wasting your time, it basically charges up one to the other. And as you can see, it says 10 seconds, it transfers to the other. So as you can see with the two talents at the bottom here, you'll see my turret at the minute has the buff from the waveform holster, and then it will swap over and you'll see it charging to the other side, and then it'll go to my seeker ball. So depending on which side you have your skill on, the waveform holster will improve it on which side. So there you go, you can see it changing underneath where my ammo is, and it's now changing over to the seeker ball, so it stacks skill damage on either side. That's how the waveform holster works. So as you can see, even though it is a skill build, there's still a lot of extra damage talents going on. 30% from the backpack, you've got 40% from the perfect in sync, you've got an extra, is it 25, sorry, from the glass cannon, and then obviously the waveform is stacking either side as well. So as you can tell, we're stacking as much as possible. So I'll just go ahead and show you some sort of standard number of what I do. So as you can see, with the standard number, it's like 176. Now, just with me hitting one bullet, so what I'll do is I'll let the target reset without getting rid of my turret. Thank you. So the target's now reset. So 176 did we say? So obviously I'll just hit it with a bullet. So you'll see the in sync will proc, and the perfect combined arms will proc, and then it goes up to 255, 271 I think I saw then, and it just provides extra damage while you're tagging away on your opponent, and you're doing damage with your gun. You're also doing damage with all your talents that you've got proccing, and that's how it works. Nice and easy. Turret goes out, you start tagging your target, throw your seeker ball out, start tagging your target again, and then those big numbers on the screen. Everything wiped out. Nice and easy. Lazy boy build is... it's for one of those times where you just want to grind a little bit, and you think, I'm just going to do some control points, I'm just going to do, you know, some missions, I just want to sit back and chill out. I'm not really in the mood to shoot anything. I'll let my teammates go and do that, and I'll just provide damage that way. Throw the turret out, throw the seeker ball out, tag a couple of people, and you're just going to cause mass damage straight away. Biohazard in the house. Good morning, my brother. How are you, Mr. B? Good to see you in the house, dude. I haven't got much time, obviously, as you can tell, doing a sort of talk and help video, just going through a couple of builds with people and providing a little bit of help and stuff, mate. But how are you? Good to see you in the house, as always. Get rid of that. So, I think that's the Lazy Boy build covered. I think you guys grasp the general idea of how it works. Nice and easy. Stay behind cover, put your turret up, da-da-da-da-da. Now, my Negotiators build. If you haven't used Negotiators before, be under no illusion. In my opinion, Negotiators is one of the best builds in the entire game. Other people will argue and say, no, it's not. I will tell you, yes, it damn well is. And I'll show you why it is. So, just go ahead and say the specialisation. I use the gunner specialisation on this one, guys, just because it has a couple of essentials that you can use. 10% armour on kill. Every third reload, I think you get reload 50% faster. You get ammo back, because obviously you go through ammo a lot quicker with SMGs. It's just got a couple that make the difference. So do try and put the gunner specialisation on with something like this. So, 4 pieces negotiators. How does it work? Gives you critical hit chance, gives you critical hit damage, and then the 4 piece. Basically, in a nutshell, I'm going to tag a target, and when I get those yellow numbers, as you can see, not the white ones, those yellow ones, that yellow one, that number there, has then put a mark above this person's head. If I then shoot different targets and get a yellow, which is a critical hit, they all get the target above their head. And then if you shoot that one target, the rest of them, as you'll see on the screen, take that damage and start to die. And then you can tag multiple other targets and then shoot that one target and they all take that damage. Now, it doesn't do that without having a few vital pieces. Things are good. How's it? Yeah, everybody's good at my end. Thank you for asking, buddy. We had Max's football this morning and they won 6-1. Really good game of football. Max played outstanding this week. Solid as a rock at the back. So, yeah, thanks for asking, buddy. So, the 4 pieces. Why use these 4 pieces? Now, the backpack straight away. Very, very, very essential. It takes the transferring damage. So, not the actual damage you're putting out, the transferring damage. So, when you've marked the target, as I showed you, when you mark the target, instead of taking 60% of that damage, they take 100% of that damage. Backpack is vital. If you're going to use the negotiator's gear 100% without any arguments of any other talent, even across all, even, I don't know, Obliterate or Unstoppable Force, any of them are not going to do the amount of damage that this is going to do because it transfers 100% of that damage. Must use the backpack. The way I've done it this way is obviously I went with the glass cannon because obviously the glass cannon on top of the marks, on top of more damage, you're stacking more damage. I used the Coyote Mask just because of the critical hit chance and critical hit damage. You want this build to be at 60% chance. If you do not have 60% chance, it's not going to work as well. You've got to mark the targets with a critical hit, which is why I use an SMG. You're more likely to get a critical hit a lot faster than you are with an assault rifle. It could be debated and say, yes, you get one with a thing, but naturally an SMG has 21% critical hit chance. It's much easier to hit a critical hit with an SMG than it is an assault rifle. That's just my opinion. I find it's much easier that way. So obviously the Coyote Mask just helps out with that critical hit chance and that critical hit damage from obviously what range you're shooting at, and then the other pieces kind of just fall in place. So that's why I use what I use. I use a CQB with Boomerang as a second, because obviously this goes into critical hits as well. So the more critical hits, it bounces that bullet back and gives you an increased 40%. And then I use the MPX with fast hands. So you'll say, why do you use fast hands? Why don't you use a critical hit mod, or, you know, killer maybe, because killer, obviously if you kill your target with a critical hit, you get more. Why do I use fast hands? Simple answer. If I've got 10 targets in front of me, or 3 or 4 targets in front of me, however many, all those critical hits then stack up to reload speed. So when I need to reload. How many times have you been in a situation where you've had 4 ads in front of you and you think, I can get them, you take out 3 of them and you've got to reload for the 4th one and bang, he downs you. That's why I use fast hands. No other reason. It just basically takes that situation away from you. You don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to go over to this side and show you properly how to use negotiators, because anybody can use it, it just matters on using it correctly. So a prime example, in the raid we use this build for the boomer. So when the boomer comes out, wait for his chest plate to be taken down. People get very fussy about that. I don't. I just shoot him in the legs, because you can tag him in the legs, in the chest, in the head. You can tag him in his arse cheeks. Doesn't matter. So just land a couple of bullets until you see that symbol. There you go. The symbol is there. Then turn to wherever you are shooting your ads, tag a few more of them, and then turn back to your main target and start drilling that target. And then when you turn, you will see all these targets are taking that damage. Multiple kills, and it's one of the easiest builds to use in the game. You've got multiple targets in front of you, you sort of spray across all of them, get those marks on them, and then you target one of them. Nice and easy. Negotiators in a nutshell. And obviously, if you use something that has a high damage output, obviously like my CQB, I'm not the best with marksman rifles or rifles, to be honest, but I can sort of land medium to short range shots. So obviously, you've got to make sure it's a critical hit. There's a critical hit. That one wasn't. That one was. That one wasn't. Neither was that one. There's the critical hit, and then aim for one, and you'll see those big chunks will start falling off the rest of them, and that's where Negotiators comes into its own. As long as you've got that critical hit, that's when the mark of the Negotiators really kicks in and starts to do the rest of the damage. Just sort of spray across all of them, and then once you've got your marks, you can then go ahead and shoot your main target, and then you transfer 100% of that damage. Now, the next question might be, well, why not use the chest plate? It's a valid question. So the only reason I would say don't use the chest plate, because I have one in here for you. I'm pretty sure I have a Negotiator's chest plate. Did I deconstruct? I might have deconstructed it just because I think it's pointless. I'll go to the crafting station and show you. Nice, mate. Yeah, definitely, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you. Don't forget, guys, if you are enjoying, drop a massive thumbs up for Danny. Hit that sub button if you are new, and show me your support. So let me just go down to Green Gear, find a Negotiator's chest, because I think you can craft one. No, you can't even craft one. Anyway, what it basically does is the Negotiator's chest plate, instead of 3 targets that you can mark, it allows you to do 5 targets. Now you might say, that's pretty good. Put yourself in this situation. Yeah, so as you'll see, you can mark up to 3 targets. There you go, you see it? Negotiators. Mark 3 targets. Now the chest plate will tell you on that talent you can mark 5 targets. Let's say you've got multiple targets coming out of one door. So there's 5 or 6 targets. There's no way on this earth you can mark all of them and be putting out that kind of damage with an SMG and not have killed 2 of them at least, because you've got to spray across all of them and then start to focus one. As you can see, that one had already died, and then the mark is then lost. So genuinely, in my opinion, 3 targets is more than enough to be shot at, because before you even realise it, you're marking a different target anyway, because you've already killed that target. So you're sort of shooting away, and as you're going away, you're marking different targets. And then your spawn point, or wherever you are, they come out again, and then you start tagging them all again, and then you focus one. 1's already dead, 2's already dead, and your marks refresh themselves. And that's where the difference between thinking about it and knowing about it is different. You don't need 5. Go with something better with damage, which is why I use the glass cannon to give it that boost in damage. Why go with 5 targets when you can add more damage to it? Are you with me on that one? Just makes a bit more sense to me, that's all. So, I think we've pretty much covered the Negotiators build there. Like I said, my personal advice, go with an SMG, just because naturally you will land more critical hits. So if you haven't obviously got 60%, which I would say you do need, don't go with 55, do try and go with 60. It will make that difference. The targets will pop up, you'll get the marks a lot quicker. Anything between 150 and where I am about 180 should be more than enough critical hit damage, but obviously that doesn't take into account our Coyote mask that'll kick in anyway. So, yeah, any questions, any advice on that Negotiators build, go ahead and ask, or any guns you would change, any gear you would change, let me know in the comments, guys, anything you would change on that one. So, we've covered so far healing build, lazy boy build, and Negotiators build. I am now going to show you, I would say my version of a tank build, but it's not a tank build. It's a support tank build. That's what it is. Danny's version of a support tank build. If you want to see this build properly, I have a build for it on my channel. I think I've got my healer build, my tank support build, and a couple of others. There's certain ones that I haven't got on the channel, but if you guys request them, I will do that. So let me know in the chat. So this is kind of my version of a tank support build. So what this basically is for is I use this for the boomer room in the raid. This is the one that I prefer to use. So nice and simple, I use the swap chain SMG. Now you say, why do you use the swap chain? Well, have a little read. Swapping to this weapon grants 400% weapon handling for 5 seconds. Kills refresh the buff. Swapping away disables it for 5 seconds. Why do you use this? I'll show you. So, most people who raid know you use the Scorpio to land your 6 shots on Boomer so you can do double damage to him. So let's go ahead and put ourselves in that scenario. So we are in the mission, well, we're in the raid, and somebody's on the gun, and he says, right, you ready to do your shots? So Boomer wanders over to you, and you land your first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get your shock. There's the shock. Boomer then gets up, you do the second round of damage. As you start running away to go round to the other side, what usually happens? Boomer's chest plate pops up, and you'll hear somebody shout chest. Take yourself out of that situation to worry about turning and doing it, the swap chain. I rest my case. That's why I use the swap chain. Yes, it's not the biggest on damage, but what it is it's very, very, very effective for that particular situation. There is nothing on the entire game that gives you more than 400% weapon handling. Nothing. Even a weapon handling build, full weapon handling, would not give you that amount of percent. You're getting it off one talent. If you haven't got a swap chain, or you haven't used one, go and find a swap chain, because I love that thing. It is brilliant. As soon as Boomer's chest pops up, I swap to that gun, and instantly, look at, there's no recoil. There's nothing. It's a laser. Yes, you could say it only lasts for 5 seconds. It takes you 2 to 3 seconds to get Boomer's chest down. That's it. More than enough time. Even having to turn and aim. So let's just put yourself in that situation where you've got to turn and aim. So let's say we're down Boomer now, we've got the shock, and we start running away, and then we've got to turn around. So we swap to the swap chain, turn around, chest down. That's why I use that gun. So, guns covered. Again, I just leave the TDI card on there just for the extra. Pull out the pistol and you use the extra damage. So, why do I use True Patriot? Simple answer. My opinion, True Patriot is probably the best build on the entire game. There is nothing you can't do with a True Patriot build. You can make a DPS True Patriot build. You can make a skill build True Patriot. You can make a tank True Patriot. You can make a healer True Patriot. There isn't anything you can't do with this build. It is brilliant in any situation. I would say to anybody, if you haven't got a True Patriot build, go and farm one. Why? 30% ammo capacity, 30% magazine capacity, which is always a bonus because obviously the magazines are always short these days. The only thing really that has a good magazine is like the Eagle Bearer or the Revenants or something like that, but an extra 30% on top, why not, right? So, red, white and blue, what do? The red, it amplifies your damage to the enemy taken by 8%. The white gives you basically armor regen, 2% armor regen. It basically regens your armor by 2% depending on how many targets that you've hit. If you hit multiple targets, it actually stacks as well. That's one thing it doesn't tell you. And then the blue debuffs the enemy by 8%. So you will say 8% and 2%, not that good. It might not be. But I don't need it on this build. It's not a full tank build. The one I'm going to show you in a minute, which is my other True Patriot one, I'll show you why. So why I use this, why I use the backpack, and why I use the chest plate. I only use these 4 pieces because I only need the 8% and the 2% and the 8% from the other one, is because when you run the Boomer Room, you normally have a healer build. So if you've got a healer build and a DPS build, your healer build will keep you alive anyway, which is why, as you'll see, I run armor and critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Even though this is technically a tank build, I still put out quite a bit of damage. So you'll see I'm almost at 60% critical hit chance, and I've also got 140 critical hit damage. Now you might say, well, it's not really useful, is it? Well, it will in a certain situation. So obviously, like I said, with the swap chain, taking the chest down quicker, if I land my 5 shots and my 6 shot to shock boomer, I'm still doing more damage to him. Even to turn and help out my ad control in that room, I'll still do that little bit of damage. But then I've got enough armor on the build, as you can see, 2 million armor, to survive. It's kind of a multi-platform build, this one. And what I like most about it is I can survive, obviously, with 2 million armor, I can still put out damage, and I can still help the team. So, 4 pieces True Patriot. Why use these 4 pieces? Why use them? Because obviously you need the Vanguard chestplate. Vanguard chestplate, as you guys know, the Point Man, it's probably one of the most well-known pieces on the game. You just need this to help out your team. As soon as you pop that shield out, everybody gets 50% of your armor. As you saw, 2 million armor. I'm giving the whole team 1 million armor. Yes, the cooldown 20 to 25 seconds, but it's always very useful. So do try and keep your eye out for a Point Man chestplate. That's the Gilligard piece, probably the most well-known piece on the game. So you should know it by now. Even a newcomer, if you're still quite new to the game, you'll certainly know. What wizardry is this? What wizardry would you like this to be, Grim? That's what I ask. I didn't have much time today, dude. My little boy wants to watch the Man United game at 3 o'clock, so I've only got about another half an hour before he wants to watch the football game. So I promised him I'd watch it with him. He had football this morning himself, and his team won 6-1. So he was in a good mood. He said, "Dad, will you watch the United game with me?" So I said, "Right, I'll go and do a quick stream, and I'll come back." So I'm just talking a few builds, just helping new players or anybody that just wants a bit of advice, mate. That's all we're basically doing. So back to the build. Point Man chestplate. Like I said, armor, critical hit chance, critical hit damage. You're still putting out a little bit of damage for the team, but you're still providing armor for yourself. So moving on to the backpack, I have this set up. Obviously, I went into this before. You can use this for the healer build if you want. Obviously, use the you can either use this one to get the perfectly opportunistic, or use the Alp Summit backpack and use the normal opportunistic talent. So I went through it before. Enemies that you hit give 15% more damage from all sources, but you've got to use a shotgun, and we are doing that, obviously, with the Boomer. We're hitting him with the Scorpio. So you're providing extra damage for the team, 15%. You've also got a very quick way to take his chest down. You're popping the shield out, giving your team 1 million armor, and in general, you're still putting out quite a bit of damage. We're not putting out, we're not putting out glass cannon type of damage, but we've still got that little bit of an edge if needed. What's that there? Nicky, welcome. How you doing, Nicky? Good to see you in the house, buddy. You are doing more than just helping. Yeah, I'm just trying to get people's heads around Nicky, as you know as well. You're fairly new to it as well. I'm just trying to give that advice, and I'm showing people on the screen so you can see it for yourselves on how it works and how it deals with it. Standard DPS, certain boss role. You're going to start testing me now, aren't you, with all these little questions, Graham? I'm not playing your little game. You can just, pop off. Come on, don't be doing that. So, that's just my version of like a tank support build. And you'll see for yourself, even some of the numbers that I can still hit, even with 2 million armor, I can still put out a fair bit of damage. And like I said, with the True Patriot, as you can see, once we've got those 3, my armor regen will obviously start to kick in. Yes, it's only 2%, it's not massive, but you'll see it still pumps it up a little bit. So obviously each time I'm hitting, I'm still getting that little bit. And obviously once all 3 flags and then you kill the target, you get those nice little pretty fireworks. Always looks cool. It's not a great amount of healing. It's not going to heal me, straight up from, taking a lot of damage. But it is some sort of a heal. It's better than nothing. But as you can see, I'm still doing damage. We're obviously doing our 6 shots on Boomer. And then, like I said, if you get in that situation where you move into the next one. So say we've landed our 5 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6. There you go. The person on the cannon starts shooting Boomer. And then instantly, in your next thought, you're ready to go. to the next turret. If that happens, turn around, you've got your swap chain at the ready. There's your swap chain with your 400% weapon handling. Bang, his chest is down. Nice, quick, easy. You're never out of control, and you'll always remain in control with this style of build. So, Danny's True Patriot tank build sorted. I am a tank. You know the Scorpio. You put the T in tank, brother. That's what you do. You put the main ank in tank. That's what you do. So, I think that's that build covered for now. So obviously we've covered the healer build, we've covered the lazy boy build, we've covered the negotiators build, we've covered a True Patriot tank support build. Now, I'm going to cover my standard AR build. So I've said this to Nikki, I've said this to a few other guys. I have what's called a flat base build, and this is my flat base build. So you have a build that everybody just kind of throws on because that's the one that you just use more than the others, or just your general build. And mine is just literally a very, very simple build. It's your 3 pieces of Providence. Everybody knows Providence. It's probably the most used gear set of all throughout Division. You get the headshot damage, you get the critical hit chance, you get the critical hit damage. As you can see, mine is all rolled for red. My backpack is the gift backpack. Now, don't worry if you haven't got a gift. A lot of people say, oh, I need that gift, I need that gift. Don't worry about it. Get a normal Providence Defense backpack and roll the Vigilance talent on it. And I'll show you why. So, Perfect Vigilance, what does it do? 25% for 3 seconds. Well, you'll say, what does the normal Vigilance do? Pretty sure I've got Vigilance on one backpack. Roundabout here. Let's have a quick look. I've got Vigilance somewhere. I think I have anyway. There, Vigilance. 25%, 4 seconds. The only difference between the GIF, so the GIF backpack is the named one, which is, I would say it's quite rare to pick up, but I've picked quite a few up now. The only difference between this talent and the normal one is 1 second. What's 1 second? In target, 1 second. That's it. That's all the difference is. There's no difference between that one and the main talent. So don't feel it necessary to say, I've got to have that backpack. Get a normal Providence Defense backpack, go with the same, and just go with the normal Vigilance talent. 2 seconds is the difference. It's 1 second. 4 seconds to 3 seconds. Come on, we can count, Grim. So yeah, just go with the normal Vigilance backpack with the Providence Defense. Much easier. Providence Defense gloves, Providence Defense chest plate, which is the named one, which is a sacrifice, the perfect glass cannon. My personal advice, if you are not comfortable using glass cannon, don't. But on the other hand, if you don't get used to using glass cannon, you will never get to that stage. I kept telling myself, for my first 2,000 watch levels, I was like, I can't use glass cannon, I'm going down all the time, I keep dying. And to be honest, I think it might have been you, Grim. I think it might have been you, brother. Somebody said to me, Dan, just throw it on, just practice with it for a little bit and get on with it. It took me about 2 weeks. I'd probably say 2 weeks constantly of just running with it, getting used to taking that damage. And now I can run it in the open world, missions, raids, stuff like that, and you will get used to it. So do not fear if you have a perfect sacrifice, perfect glass cannon for the sacrifice chest plate. Go ahead and use it. If you are confident enough to give it a go, trust me, just give it a go, because you will get used to it. It's one of those things, it just takes practice to use. Moving on, my holster is a Grupo Sombra holster. It's just critical hit damage, nothing special about that. And then I have the Chill Out mask. Now you might say, why use the Chill Out mask? It gives you armor. The armor is always welcome because, as you know, with glass cannon, that's why I've done my glass cannon up with the expertise, because that little bit of extra armor, I can take that tiny little bit of extra damage before I have to hit for cover. Not for me. Best shot, glass cannon. So, yeah, I would say that for you. I'm just talking in general, mate, just to help people and give people advice and sort of give out ideas. So, if you are not brave enough to go ahead and use glass cannon, like I said, just give it a go. It might seem difficult at first. You will get used to it. A different talent to this, which will help out, use the Obliterate talent. The Obliterate talent, it doesn't do as much. I think it's 25% Obliterate. I think I've actually got one in the stash somewhere. I've got an Obliterate. Here's Obliterate. So critical hits increase your total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds. It stacks 25 times. So you do get 25% from Obliterate. So it's not the worst thing, and you don't take the increased damage. But my opinion, the 30% that you do get from the sacrifice, it does make a difference. Just try and get used to using it. If not, try the Obliterate talent, see how you get on with that, and let me know. Sentinel's in the house. Yes, Sentinel. How you doing, my brother? Good to see you in the house as always. 50% incoming damage is no difference. Yeah. Yeah, so moving on from there, guys, that's how my flat standard assault rifle build works. Now, I use the Eagle Bearer just because, obviously, the Eagle Bearer has the extra 15% critical hit damage, and you can't get that on any other weapon or any other mod that's a muzzle anywhere. So you got your extra weapon handling as well, and you've got another 10% critical hit chance, which, as you can see, with all that critical hit chance and all that critical hit damage, I'm at 60% critical hit chance, 210 crit damage, and I've got 100% headshot damage. So
You've been invited to a raid group.
I've just been invited to a raid group. Sorry, Havoc. I would join you for a raid, brother, but I'll be getting off in the next 20 minutes or so, guys. So sorry, Havoc. I would join you, buddy, but I can't. So just my standard assault rifle build, just as some of the numbers you can hit. And yes, you'll say I can hit bigger numbers than that. We're not on about groundbreaking things here. This is just a flat assault rifle build that I prefer to use. So you'll see a couple of the talents will kick in. Last bullet hit there was over a million, and my standard number is about 871. 871 for a critical hit. Now, like I said, there's better builds out there to let's get the perfect finisher talent on there. So using the Obliterate, and that'll bump it up to 956 with that. 956 with the pistol, the perfect finisher, the Obliterate. You need that orbit pistol. If you haven't got an orbit, that's something that you need, guys. That perfect finisher talent gives you 35% chance and 40% crit damage. It makes a difference. I love that orbit. I'd never really use anything else pistol-wise for damage anyway. Please explain the ups and downs of using the eBay. Yes, I will do that for Mr. Grimm. So I prefer to use the Eagle Bearer because I think, obviously, the extra 10 rems that you get, because obviously you do get 60 rems, the downside of it is the tenacity talent. It can work in your favour, and then it can work against you. So let's go through it and talk about it properly. So the tenacity talent at the bottom here, as you can see. So 40 to 80% of damage taken is delayed until the buff expires. It's kind of like playing with fire. You'll be playing with fire and you'll be juggling it away, and then all of a sudden it'll sting your hands. That's kind of what tenacity does. It comes back with a vengeance. Now, let's just say you're going ahead and you're shooting your target and you get that headshot kill. You will see our character begins glowing red. You see how my character's like glowing that red? So it's got a slight glow to it. The tenacity talent procs, as you can see at the bottom, the little eagle sign is there. Any damage that you take in the meantime, it will then be taken after the talent goes down. It can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy. So, as Grimm's saying there, guys, just be careful using the Eagle Bearer. I do prefer to use it because everybody knows I'll end up on the floor at some point. So I'm not really bothered. Doesn't bother me. What does bother me is make sure if you are going to use it, there is that chance of it kicking in and stinging you in the butt cheek. Do you know what I mean? It will happen. There's no pros and cons of it not happening. If you do not want to use the Eagle Bearer, 2 other guns I would advise. 1, the Carbine 7. The Carbine 7 is my probably go-to weapon. It's my most favoured assault rifle. Or use the FAMAS. One of the 2 I would advise. If not, let me know what assault rifle you would use. Let me know what you prefer. But either of those two is a good option to the EB. It's one of them. I think you either love it or you hate it. It's one of the two. There's no real in between. People either say I use it or I don't. There's no real in between with the Eagle Bearer. Carbine 7 is yeah, absolutely. The Carbine 7 is a laser machine. So I'll just stick it on for you and show you the same sort of. So we've not changed build, guys. We've not changed any gear pieces here. It's exactly the same, just with the Carbine 7, and you'll see the numbers are near enough the same, but it's much easier to control. Now, yes, you could say the extra bullets of the Eagle Bearer are better, but then the Tenacity Talent will sting you when you least expect it. With the normal assault rifle, you don't get that. But as you can tell, you can hit the head pretty comfortably. It's not just at 5 meters as well. I can do it at 10 meters. I can hit the head pretty comfortably, and it is pretty much a laser show. 15, I'd be asking. I'm not comfortable at 15. I probably would be able to land most of my shots, but not too bad. Not too bad. I've always said I'm a short range to medium range shooter. I always have been. I'd switch to my CQB at that point and just start landing headshots with the CQB and do it that way. But just a flat standard assault rifle build to get you started. Anything, obviously, in the meantime that you would say, I'd do that instead, or I'd do this, or I'd do that, that's absolutely perfect. What works for you is the best one. Anybody who says to me, this is a meta build, use this, use that, my personal opinion, there is no meta build, because everybody is different, everybody prefers different guns, everybody moves a different way, or plays a different way, or has a different way of doing things. So don't think that you have to blueprint somebody's build to be good at the game. Blueprint it, change it, copy it to suit your style. Now, a primary example of that, so obviously that's my assault rifle build fairly covered. A prime example of changing something to make it work for you is my pulse build. Now, I don't think I've seen anybody with a similar type of build. I used to use my assault rifle build with the same thing. So instead of using the chill out mask, I used to use the same mask on my pulse build, which I use, which is here. So the Night Watcher's mask, I used to use an all red one, which I have in the stash. I'll show you here. So I have a Night Watcher's mask, and it is all red. Here it is. So it is weapon damage and critical hit damage, and then it has the scanner pulse haste. I used to use this one on my assault rifle build and pulse with the assault rifle, but running the raid sometimes, a pulse can take away people's Achilles, or it sort of like has a bit of an effect on the raid sometimes. So to save myself the situation with other players sort of cross-acting, I put the chill out mask on to give myself more damage, and that's how I did it. So if you're using pistols to swap, you should.
Agent requesting backup.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. 100%. I've got the busy bee. I just prefer to let you guys do it. You know me. If I don't have to, I won't. So going back to that pulse build there, guys. So how I use this differently. I'll move this out. So I use this on the open world. I use it for missions. I use it for bounties. I use it for just running in general. Probably wouldn't use it in the raid. I just use it in running in general. Now, why do I use these pieces? So let's start with the Night Watcher's mask. We were there anyway. I have a Night Watcher's with blue. So obviously I have the armor core. I have critical hit damage and critical hit damage mod, and obviously the scanner pulse haste, because that's what it gives you. I then have another blue on the chest plate. So this is the closer chest plate, the named chest plate, and it gives you the perfect spotter talent. So obviously pulsed enemies, I do an extra 20% damage. I then have a Walker and Harris holster, which is just 5% weapon damage, just helps out with the AR damage. As you can see, Fenris gloves, AR damage, bit more damage. I use the Memento. Memento, the kill confirmed, should I say. Obviously, it drops like a little kill confirmed sign that you'll see, and it stacks. I won't go too much into it and bore you here forever with the talent. The Memento is just good for stacking damage and obviously stacking bonus armor and giving you the skill tiers. That's what it does. And then I've just got another Seska piece just to get that critical hit chance up there. And then I use the FAMAS, and I have the flatline talent on it. So, like I said, I use this for the open world, I use it for missions, and I use it for stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, there's much more better builds to use, like a Hunter's Fury build, a Striker build, stuff like that. But what I like about this is, as soon as you hit that pulse, it lights everything up like a Christmas tree. So if you're one of those players where you're like, oh, they're always behind me, they're always left, they're always right, take that out that situation and use the pulse build, because with the Night Watcher's mask, I get my pulse back it will be 3 seconds in here because the skill haste is increased. So if I take the skill haste off, you'll see I think it's about 8 seconds. So I hit the pulse, there's no pulse haste now, so you'll see it says 9, but it starts off at 9. It's already moving, so it's like 8. It's like, say it's like 8.5 seconds that I get another pulse back. So you'll see the pulse is back, and I can pulse again, and it just helps out with visually spotting your target. Have you ever been running around the open world and you're like, where am I getting hit from? You're looking left and right, and you're like, where am I getting hit from? The pulse will just take that out of the situation for you. And then obviously, if you are using the pulse, you might as well stack into that damage. Flatline on the talent gives you an extra 15%, and obviously the perfect spotter talent another 20%, and then you're stacking damage while you're getting your kill confirmed. So what kind of numbers does it do? Numbers aren't brilliant, don't get me wrong, they're not groundbreaking numbers, but it does enough for you to run around the open world, spray them down, and get some decent numbers. So again, make sure that you get your pulse. So obviously you're doing more damage to pulse enemies, start hitting them even to the chest. 400k, like you said, not the best numbers, but good enough to obviously sort of run around the open world, do bounties, missions and stuff like that, and get you through it quite comfortably. To the head, just below 500, 472, and it still hits quite hard. So yeah, not groundbreaking, but just a different style of build to use in any given situation. Something a bit different, that's all. What's that, dude? Even one stacks up to the shoot swap. Yeah, definitely, mate. That Busy Bee does 100% make a difference. 100%. I'm just sort of going through flat builds. Do you know what I mean? Something just to give new players and ones that are struggling with builds and stuff. I've been helping a few new players recently, Grim, and they've just been saying, what can I use for this? What can I use for that? What works for this? What works for that? And I'm just trying to go through a couple of flat standard builds just to help people out with that. So, a flat standard build just to help you guys out with damage. This is the one for you. If you just want a flat, decent build where you can just run around, make sure that you feel quite strong and quite confident, and you can just take out missions, take out control points, bounties, resource convoys, anything like that. Something just to run the open world with, or, wherever it is. Hunter's Fury is your go-to. 4 pieces Hunter's Fury right here. Gives you shotgun SMG damage, 20% armor on kill, 100% health on kill, which has saved my life so many times you would not believe it. And then the Apex Predator will kick in. Enemies within 15 meters receive a debuff, and then you're amplifying your weapon damage against them by 20%. And then obviously killing them, blah, 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 and so on. It's basically an armor on kill build. So if you run the gunner specialization with it like I do, you get another 10% armor on kill, so that's 30% that you get back. And why do I use these pieces? So I use the 4 pieces just because I think Intimidate and Adrenaline Rush work much better with this build than the chest plate for Hunter's Fury and the backpack for Hunter's Fury, and I'll show you why. So as you can see right here, I'm not doing anything, and I've got bonus armor. I'm just standing here doing nothing. The perfect Adrenaline Rush talent. So it's the Matador backpack, as you can see. Whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 23% bonus armor, and it stacks 3 times for 5 seconds. Cooldown's 5 seconds as well. So every 5 seconds, I'm just gaining more, because obviously it can stack 3 times. Now, as soon as that kicks in, the Intimidate talent will kick in, which is what I've got here. Obviously, bonus armor has to proc it. Then it didn't used to be, it stacks now, it didn't used to be like that. It just used to give you a flat 40%, but it doesn't now, you have to stack it. But it does stack quite quickly. People say that Intimidate's a dead talent now, but to be honest, it still works for me. New abuse Scorpio. So, you'll see the Intimidate, look how quick it's going up. It's already there. It's full. So for me, it's still quite a useful talent. Other people don't get on with it. I still get on with it. Like I said, personal preference, opinion. And mine, I prefer this. So Hunter's Fury, what type of numbers are we talking? Well, we've still got a shell left, and that was a named boss. Night Night's inviting me. Will you tell Night Night, thank you, but I've got to go off in the next 10-15 minutes anyway to watch football with my son. So, sorry Night Night, I would come and join you normally, you know that dude. But I've got to go off and watch the Man United game. I've already been told by my son. No doubt he'll come knocking on the door and be shouted in a minute. So, thank you Night Night, I would join you, brother, but I'll just get this sort of finished up. So, Hunter's Fury. Really, really simple build. You want all weapon damage, all critical hit chance, and all critical hit damage. The more damage you do, the better. Now, you could say go with one blue attribute. You can do that because obviously with the adrenaline rush, we're getting 23% of our armor in bonus armor. So if you just want that slight edge to give you a little bit more armor, then go with an armor piece and just roll the Intimidate talent on that one. I use the Grupo piece just to give me that more damage because I think the quicker you kill them, the better, right? But if you're not that confident and you want to put a blue roll on this, because I could change this and go with a blue roll, it doesn't matter. But the Adrenaline Rush gives you that little bit of extra bonus armor, and it's just to proc the talent for me. But for you, if you wanted a blue armor piece, or either two blue armor pieces, it would just give you that little bit extra. So what I'll do is, I'll swap to a blue chest plate and just show you the difference on the blue core armor. So there, I've switched the piece out, and you can just see it gives you that little bit of extra chunk because you've got that extra blue piece. If you're going to be more confident with that extra blue piece, then go ahead and put an extra blue piece. But my personal opinion is keep it all red and just kill your enemy twice as fast. That's my opinion. And like I said, type of numbers that you're talking, just reload. And we're hitting our target, and as you can tell, we've still got 2 shells left, and the target was gone, and that's a named heroic, because obviously the map's on heroic. Just takes them out that quickly. Now, a little spin on it. So, my second weapon, the Grudge. Why use the Grudge? Well, killing an enemy with a status effect applied grants you and your allies within 20 meters 18% chance and 18% damage for 20 seconds. Now, this is very useful in a mission. So bear in mind, we're running through a mission now. You know that your Scorpio will give off the poison and the disrupt and the shock. So go ahead and take your target down to minimum health, swap to your Grudge, kill him off, and there is your talent procced. And now if you reload and shoot again, the numbers are ridiculous. Got 3 shells left now. So just proccing that perfect vindictive talent gives you so much more damage. But you have to time it right. So make sure if you are going to use the Grudge, make sure with your Scorpio that you just take your enemy down to... See, that's how easy it is to kill them off. That's what I mean. The Hunter's Fury is just... It's just that good. So make sure you've got the status effect applied, kill them off, and there's your perfect vindictive to give you that more damage and take out the rest of the ads. Easy as that. Really quick, simple build, but a very, very effective build at that. Lee's here. Yes, Lee. How you doing, brother? Good to see you in the house. What are you saying there, Grim? 35% versus 25% for the glass cannon. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just trying to go through builds for people that they can feel comfortable in their build, mate. I know obviously the glass cannon is always better to go with because yes, it does do more damage and you will kill them a lot quicker. If you are not comfortable using glass cannon, this is an alternative. But go ahead and give glass cannon a try. It does take a little bit to get used to, as Grim is just basically pointing out. If you do put the glass cannon on, which you'll see, it will make a massive difference. So the glass cannon's on, and you'll see it does make that bit of a difference. You're just going to hit that little bit harder with glass cannon. And I do agree with him, it is worth doing, but if you are not comfortable doing that, this is an alternative. And that's the whole point of sort of showing you guys how it works and stuff. I just want to show you guys something a little bit different. Yes, I know I've seen Night Knight's invite. Tell him thank you, but I'm going off shortly. Immortal, my lad wants to watch the United game, and I promised him I've got to watch him with it because he won this morning. His team won 6-1 this morning. He said, Dad, will you watch the United game with me? And I said, oh, I'm doing a stream. He said, please, will you come off stream and watch the United game? So I promised him I have to. So tell Night Night thank you, but I'll have to join you guys a little bit later after football. I appreciate him inviting me. Yeah, heading out soon to watch United with Max, and he'll start banging on the door in a minute and telling me I've got to go and watch the game. So yeah, Hunter's Fury covered then, guys. If you want to go ahead and give that build a try, please go ahead and do so. So what will we finish on? Let's finish on something a little bit different for you guys. So let's finish on let's go with the status effect build. I think that's the only thing I haven't shown you yet. We've shown you a bit of a tank support build. I've shown you a DPS build. Shown you a healer build. Let's go with something like a status effect build. So before I say anything about it, there is probably, and there is that I know of, better status effect builds out there. Mine is nowhere near a polished or well-rounded one. What it is it's a status effect build that just works for me, and it's easy. There is better ones out there. Other people do have them. This is a flat, standard platform one. Take it, have a little look at it, see what you think, change something on it, change the talents, see what you think. But mine is just a flat, easy to use status effect build. So, starting with the guns. I use the mechanical animal because it gives me an overcharge. Now, what I use this build for is when the global events come round or the time trials come round and I need to get extra points or do a certain time quicker on hard or challenging, this gun then becomes useful because on hard you'll take them down in a couple of bullets, and I can give myself an overcharge with the mechanical animal because obviously with the skill tiers, if you have 6, it then grants the overcharge. As you can see, it says weapon skills at skill tier 6 grants overcharge for 15 seconds. And what it does is, when I need to refill one of them, say my chem launchers, or if I use a stinger hive, because sometimes I change to a stinger hive, it will just give it me back a little bit quicker. That's all I use it for. Same with the Scorpio, nice and easy status effect. The status effect will transfer. Going on to the transferring. The Vial Mask, that's what makes the difference on transferring. So the Vial Mask, basically in a nutshell, instead of reading the whole thing to you, is once a status effect is applied to an enemy, once the enemy is killed, it transfers the status effect to the next nearest target. That's basically how it works, and it works with the Eclipse protocol, and that's why I use the Eclipse protocol. So I do use the backpack and the chest plate for Eclipse protocol just to make the status effect that little bit stronger. So as you can see on the mask, we've got status effect hazard protection. It comes with that as well. I've also got the status effect on the chest plate, and I've got I've got skill damage on the backpack, skill damage on the gloves, skill damage on the knees, and then I think I've got status effect on the. So I think I've got 3 and 3. I think it's 3 skill damage and 3 status effects. What's that? Congratulations, the win from Max. Thank you, Lily. Yeah, he played really, really well this morning. Went against a decent side, and we're 2 out of 2 in the cup now. And he played really well, strong at the back. And the goal that we conceded, really, winning 6-1, it was just a corner. It came and it bobbled about, ended up in the back of the net. Apart from that, they didn't really get a sniff around our goal. Max was very, very good today. So thank you for that, bud. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I use it for a bit of both, really. So what Grim's saying, guys, is spec more into the status effect. See, I use 3 and 3. So I have skill damage, and skill damage, and then I have status effect, and then status effect. I kind of went down the middle with it, do you know what I mean? Instead of going all one side of it, I kind of went down the middle because I still want the skill to do a little bit of damage, but I still want the status effect to work as well. So I just went flat down the middle. But again, that's your personal preference. If you want to go that full status effect, then go full status effect. If you want to go full skill damage, then do that. It's your choice, it's your build. Don't let anyone say this is wrong or that's wrong. It's your personal opinion. If it works better for you, then try it that way. This is just the way it works for me. So, 4 pieces Eclipse Protocol, status effect, skill haste, hazard protection, and then obviously your status effect now spreads on kill to enemies closer than 10 meters, and it refreshes for 50%. Well, if you use the chest plate, it spreads from 50% to 75, so it kind of refreshes the. So let's say they're on fire and it kills someone. If it only had a tiny little bit left, it would then refresh 75% to the next nearest target. So it jumps. And then, what's that? I can't remember what the backpack does now. It amplifies the damage of the spread by 30% to the targets. So, instead of talking science, let's show you what it does. So, the skill that I spec'd into is I spec'd into my fire sticky bomb. I just prefer using this to using the chem launcher. I do use the chem launcher, but I spec'd into this one a little bit more. And as you can see, I have an extra 13% burn damage on this because of my expertise level. So, why do I use this one? I just prefer the way that it feels, the way the skill is. I just prefer it. So, let's put it on very hard and you'll see. Like I said, it's all well and good talking science, but what you want to see visually is what it does. So, I shoot my target, and as the skill damage, as you can see, and it sets the rest of them on fire, and then it will jump to the nearest target. So you'll see once it kills them, it jumps over here. Once it kills that one, it jumps, and it keeps jumping. It jumps over here to the boss, and then obviously once everybody's dead, it obviously stops jumping, or when it runs out, it then stops jumping. You can use the same for the chem launcher. The chem launcher looks just as well. The fire chem launcher, put that down, double tap it, it kicks in, and there's the fire. And as you'll see, the burn damage for mine is very, very strong. Even with only 3 rolls of status effect, that's how strong it is. It's got a really strong sort of pulse on it. As you can see, you'll see the fire jump from target to target to target. Very useful build for speed running missions, or just in general using it for control points. Control points normally are quite close together, and they add spawn location out of a door. So say that door is your spawn location and you've managed to trap them, and then you shoot the first one, and then you just add to the fire, get your chem launcher out, start adding to that as well. The burn kicks in, the skill kicks in, it's more damage, and then it starts jumping to all the nearest targets and starts taking them all out. It's a very fun build to use and a very satisfying build to use. I find that using this build makes me smile a lot, because there's not many things that on the game you just go, yeah boy, and just watch everybody burn to death. It's a brilliant feeling. And then obviously if you have the flamethrower like I do, I haven't got any ammo for it now, but burning somebody alive with that flamethrower, there's something quite oddly satisfying about it, I have to say. Not sure whether it's just, you know, setting someone on fire and watching them burn to death. I don't know what it is, but there's something oddly satisfying about it. So that's how the Eclipse Protocol build works for me. You know, if you use a similar build, let me know what you use. Yours is probably better than mine is, and you've probably got better, you know, a better run of things than I have. This just works for me, and I find it's just strong enough for what I need it for. Because if I change the map, let's change it. So obviously it was on very hard, which is, I think that's challenging or heroic. Because if it's on easy, so let's just say you're running the world on normal or running it on hard to do your speed challenges for like the leagues and stuff, or the manhunt, you'll see how quickly it's just game over for all of them. Because obviously they're not as strong as they would be on as I run my world on heroic or legendary and stuff like that. It's still quite useful, but it's still going now. That's why I said on hard or challenging or something like that, it will just keep going and you'll just keep destroying the ads one after another. So don't think that you have to use it on the highest level. You know, you can use it for other things. Even if you're doing a mission on challenging or just some bounties or something like that, this build will work for that. So, next time we run Edge, you're using this build. Yeah, man, I'll use Eclipse Protocol all day long. I do prefer it with the Stinger Hive, Grim. I don't know whether you've seen it with the Stinger Hive, but because I'm flat down the middle with skill damage and status effect, the Stinger Hive works very, very well with it. So let's put the Stinger on duration. So you'll see, I would just leave this at a spawn door. So let's put it back on very hard. So obviously it's back to like challenging or heroic level. And you'll see the Stinger Hive, not only does the skill damage do a lot as well, the bleed is actually quite strong as well. So the skill damage kicks in, the bleed kicks in. And you'll see it's still quite strong for the bleed damage. And don't forget, I haven't procced my in-sync talent or anything like that. I'm not shooting with the Scorpio to cause any more or anything. Just the standard bleed that's going into it, and how much skill damage it actually does do, and how much bleed damage it does do as well. Don't get me wrong, the fire seems to kill them quicker and jumps a lot better, but the fire and the bleed together is devastating. If you get the two of them together, it's frightening how fast you can actually get rid of targets. So let me just get a few more, and I'll try and throw that and shoot a sticky at the same time, and you'll see just how fast everything starts to go to sleep, if you like. It's only on hard, that's why I'm very hard now. Right, let's try it now. I've got 12 charges on it, so by the time that's gone down, we'll throw this out, and that blows up, and then the bleed kicks in. Yeah. Certainly does the trick. So, yeah, give that a go, guys. Have a look at that and see if you're interested, and see if it's something that you just want to give a go, because I enjoy using it. Because I think that what you have to remember is a variety of builds gives you choice. It doesn't just give you, oh, I'm going to come on and use the same old build again and go the same old style. Give yourself something different. Make your brain work that little bit harder to say, I wonder if I can squeeze more damage out of that, or squeeze more status effect out of this, or can I get more armor out of that build, or can I do this? You should never say to yourself, that build's good enough. Every single week, I probably go over my build to make sure that everything's right on them, everything's maxed out, or the mods are where they should be. I always think, can I fit any more pieces where they should be, or can I make it better somehow? You should be doing the same. You know, just looking and checking in general if that works for me, or does this work for that, or does that work for this? And that's just how I like to run things. So, one final one before I have to shoot off. So, a build that I think it was Mr. Brazetta helped me with. So, I was using a one-shot build before, but I didn't quite have the right pieces to make it worthy enough of a headshot build. But please don't think that this is one of the best ones out there, because it's not. There's far better one-shot builds out there, and you can stack it with the RAV. There's a few other different bits and pieces that you can do to make it better, but this one just seems to work for me when I need to land that Regulus headshot and kill all the targets. This works for me. So obviously you want to go with the glass cannon chestplate, the glass cannon, the highest damage. I've got the punch drunk mask for obviously the headshot damage and the pistol damage. I have the Dodge City Gunslinger holster to charge it up. You've got the Fox's Prayers for the damage to targets out of cover, and then two heralded pieces to obviously give me the 15% headshot damage. And then I've got the Vigilance talent on there. Obviously, it's not the gift backpack, it's not 4 seconds, 3 seconds as it is on there, it's 4 seconds. So as you can see, the little pistol talent underneath, when it's charged up, you can then swap to your Regulus, which is obviously the piece to get from the Iron Horse raid. If you need help getting any of these exotics, and you've sat there watching and thinking, oh, he's just talking and not helping, Danny Lads 1989, send me a friend request, guys. I will help you. I'll get you in. I'll help you find some gear. I'll try and get you in raids and try and get you exotics and just give you a hand in general. It's up there highlighted in orange. I will also drop my Discord link in the chat for you, so just give me a second. I'll get my Discord link up. Copy link. And paste. There we go, guys. Danny's Discord is in the chat. So if you are sat there and you're like, oh, You know, he's just doing a lot of talking and not helping. The help is being offered, believe me. That's what I'm here for. I'm just here to help you guys out, assist you as much as possible. If you want to go ahead and join my Discord, feel free. I am always available on the phone or just a message or just in general. DannyLads1989 is my PSN. If you just want some help, let me know. I will help you as much as I can. So, we hit our Achilles. We've got a headshot one, and didn't quite see the number. I know it was a critical hit, but I didn't quite see the number. Sometimes it's not as high as you'd think it would be. Sometimes I'll hit for like 20 mil, sometimes I'll hit for like 10, sometimes I'll hit for like 2 or 3, and you're like, what? I think the highest I've hit is 92 million, is the highest I've hit. And that was a lucky shot on Ricochet, I think. I think I shot him in the leg, actually. It was like a leg shot, and it was like a 92 million shot. But there is far better one-shot builds out there. Don't take my advice. This is just kind of a flat one where it works. Do you know what I mean? It's nowhere near the top-end one. I'm not doing some silly numbers that I've seen people do. Mr. Grimm being one of those people, posting videos in the chat and showing us how much damage he can certainly pull off. So, like I said, this is just a flat standard show to show you guys it's not that difficult. It can be done, and you can have a good build. Don't think you sat there and saying, I can't do that, I can't do this, and the game's not fun. Give yourself the best advantage. So, let's see. Not the best number. It wasn't a critical hit, but you get the idea of how it works. And even with a headshot damage build with an assault rifle, my numbers are still pretty decent with my assault rifle, this is the build that I use in the raid. So obviously, if I want to put out big damage and help out my team, this is the build that I use in the raid. Iron Horse, or I can use it in Dark Hours. I do much prefer to use the Striker build for Dark Hours, but everybody's like, oh, you don't use Striker, do you? And I'm like, yes, I use Striker. Legend, proper build. So, to show you guys one last time. So even without the Achilles, you can still manage to land a decent headshot, and this has saved my life more times than I know. You just turn, you just hit that target, boom, there's a decent shot. We got a critical hit then, and that's what the Regulus is for. It's kind of like a golden bullet situation. It saves your life when you need it. But as you can tell with my rifle, headshot damage and those numbers there, critical hits, 3 million. And this is the one that I tend to use for the bosses. So when my teammates are asking for big damage on the boss, I'll tend to bring out my CQB, aim for the head, and then you're landing just short of 3 million each bullet. So obviously I can tap it quite quickly and just get that burst damage to a boss when we need it. And that's the main reason that I use it. So, I think we've covered a good few builds for you there, guys. So it's getting close to that time, and no doubt my son will start banging on the door in a minute, asking where I am. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for everyone that showed their support. Please go ahead and drop Danny a massive thumbs up on the stream. Hit that sub button if you are new. I'm going to try and stream later on, obviously, once I've watched football and had a bit of family time and that. I'm going to try and do a stream later on, so I might just come on and just showcase a few of these builds. But I just wanted to do a nice chilled out stream today, just show you guys that there is builds out there that you can use, variety, and just show you it doesn't take a lot of effort to just enjoy the game and play it flat standard and not worry about, oh, I can't really do that damage, or I don't need this, or I don't need that. The pieces are there for you. The advice is there for you. Like I said, DannyLads1989 if you are on PSN. It's up there in orange for you. The Discord has been dropped in the link as well, so if you want to go ahead and join Danny's Discord, that's what I am here for. And I'm just here to help you guys and guide you along your way to success. So, I will leave you guys there. And like I said, hopefully I want to do another stream later on and maybe catch a couple of raids with Grim and Immortal and a few of the other guys that I've run with, and just show you these builds in action. Show you how they work in in a raid team and what it brings to the team and the banter that comes along with it. So big shout out to Grim. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate you. We've also had Lily in the house. We've had Immortal in the house. We've had Pat in the house, Sentinel. We've had Nikki in the house, Biohazard in the house. We've had a good few of you in today. The regulars and the news. Really do appreciate you all. Make sure you drop that thumbs up, guys. Hit that sub button if you are new. Don't forget, DanielLads1989 is PSN, YouTube, Twitter, all that good stuff, Discord. Send me a message, send me a friend request. Come and get involved. Come and join us. And I'll see you next time. Take care. It's been DanielLads1989. I'll see you in the next one. Love you, bye.